This is the Moza Air. It's a 3-axis handheld gimbal that weighs about 1.1 kilos and is powerful enough to stabilise 2.5 kilos of camera gear. And that covers pretty much every mirrorless and DSLR camera on the market plus a lens. Effectively, it turns this kind of shot into this. That's the sort of job you used to need the huge DJI Ronin for. 3 years ago, that would have cost you $4,500 US. The Moza here sells now for $600 and you can hold it with one hand. It's a full lightweight metal construction and it feels like a quality build. Your 3 rechargeable batteries screw into the handle here. You balance up your camera by shifting it around on the base plate and moving the balance points of these 3 arms. But please, before you get it all balanced up, don't forget to check your batteries and cards, because you're going to teach yourself some new words if you have to take the camera off and do it again. If you want to give yourself a little bit more stability to hold it with, you can clip on an extra set of handles that makes it a 2-handed rig. And for an extra $200 US, you can upgrade it with this nifty thumb control remote. And I've found this makes a huge difference. It's got a joystick on it to control the gimbal with, but you can also use it to control your camera with a start-stop recording button and a focusing scroll wheel on the back, which is a great idea. The gimbal communicates with the camera through a little USB cable here that runs through to one of the motors. The whole thing's pretty easy to use. There's 3 modes. Your follow will probably be the most common. It keeps the camera level and follows you as you turn side to side, smoothing out the movements. Your/tilt follow does the same and also lets you smoothly tilt the camera. And then there's full lock mode, which keeps your tilt and roll locked unless you're moving them with the joystick. You can mount the camera on top, underneath, or flat forward in a flashlight orientation, but any way you mount it, you're going to find yourself having trouble seeing the rear screen unless you've got a flip out monitor, because this back motor kind of gets in the way. It's not terrible. If you hold it off to your right, you can kind of peek in there, but if you let the camera get around to your left, it gets very hard to see what you're doing. I guess there's always the option of running an external monitor mounted on the handle somewhere, but this is pretty much just something you've got to deal with whichever gimbal stabilizer you end up choosing. Despite the Moza Air being very lightweight, it's still a chunky old thing to carry around for a shoot once you stick your camera on top of it. Let's put it this way, after 5 solid minutes carrying this thing around, 1- or 2-handed, your back is probably going to feel it. To help out with that, Moza includes a set of tripod legs that you can screw onto the bottom so you can set it down on the ground in between takes. And they also come in kind of handy for precise control of pan movements as you shoot. So, pretty nifty little thing there. Reviewing footage on the back of the camera can, in between takes, can cause the gimbal to flip out a bit and switch itself off. So you're better off holding in the joystick button to turn off the motors and go into standby mode when you do that. Battery life seems pretty decent. Obviously you're not using it for every shot, but we haven't found ourselves needing to recharge in the middle of a day of shooting. If you're going to work it a bit harder, you can always buy a few more battery cells for it. All in all, this thing does what it says on the box. We've been testing it with a big old Canon 5D Mark III and a 24-105 lens, as well as smaller mirrorless rigs like the Panasonic GH5, and it's handled both of those and stabilised them with no issues. So for $800 US with a carry case, this double hand grip and the thumb remote, the Moza Air is a cheap, easy and effective stabiliser option to add to your video production gear. And it'll get you some shots you simply can't do without it. So that's a thumbs up from us.